Well, hello again, Booktube. Today is Tuesday, and that means Tag Tuesday, and I wanted to do this tag that was made by Roisin at Roisin's Reading, and it is called the Quarter Year Crisis Tag, and it is essentially a sort of check-in with yourself as far as where you are in your reading so far this year. And so, and I was mentioned in another person's video. I think his name is Andrew. The channel is called You Could Be Reading More, and he mentioned me as one of the new booktubers that are worth viewing in 2026, and so uh, that was great. And so I took that to meaning that, well, I should do this tag too, and so that is what we're going to do today. So, and I will leave a link to the original video or to Roisin's channel, the one who made this tag. But the first question is, how many books have you read so far this year? And I feel a little bad saying it, not nearly as many as I was expecting to have read by this point. I have read, if you just talk about individual books, I have read 8 books this year. But if you count books that I have reread, then that would be 10 books, because I read The Death of Ivan Ilyich twice, and I also read Eugene Onegin twice. So if you count those rereads, it's more like 10, so double digits. But just as far as individual books, just 8 books, sadly. Hoping to increase my rate as the year goes on. Question number 2, have you already found a book that you think might be a 2026 favorite? If not, what was your favorite book you read that wasn't quite 5 stars? Even though I've only read 8 books, the books that I have read, aside from 1 or 2, I really enjoyed. I mean, they're all of them are 5 stars. I guess if you were if you had a gun to my head and forced me to pick a favorite, it would probably be the book that sort of inspired me to make this, whatever this booktube channel is, and that is Savage Beauty by Nancy Milford. And this is a biography of Edna St. Vincent Millay, popular poet from the early to mid 1900s, and I usually cannot get into poetry, but Edna St. Vincent Millay I absolutely love for whatever reason, and so as soon as I had heard about this biography, I really wanted to read it, and it blew me away. It made me love Millay's poetry even more. So this is probably my favorite so far this year, but if it's number 1, it has a narrow lead over some of the books that I've read. So that's the answer to that question. Question number 3, are there any 1-star books or least favorite books of the year? Yes, there are. The first book that I would consider just, it didn't hit me the way that I was expecting it to. And I forgot to get the book, but I know it's on my shelf here. Yep. The book that really just sort of disappointed me, that I did not enjoy as much as I thought, was The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's not a very long book, it's really more a novella. And I went into this really expecting to enjoy it. I don't read science fiction. I don't read science fiction, but the premise of this book was really intriguing. If you don't know about it, it's about this guy, this sort of down on his luck schmuck in, I think, the 1970s. He discovers that he can read, that his dreams can change reality. And when he goes to see a psychiatrist, this psychiatrist weaponizes that and tries to create a more ideal future, and then everything starts to go haywire after that. And so uh, that's a really intriguing premise, and I was really expecting to like it, but for whatever reason, it just did not. I just did not like it all that much. I don't think it was the prose. There was just something about it. I cannot put my finger on why I didn't like this, but this was I would say a disappointment. And then a book that a 1 star book, but that was not 1 star. 1 star is maybe I don't use star ratings with my books, but if I had to give it a star rating, maybe a 2.5 stars. But one book that was a 1 star that I just could not, I hated, was and I really disappointed me, was this book. I talked about it in a previous video. This book, it's a biography of Don Rickles, and it's called The Merchant of Venom, and it's by Michael Seth Starr. And I couldn't even get through this. I got through about half of this and DNF'd it, and I really disliked it because, well, for one, this purports to be the first definitive biography of Don Rickles. Don Rickles is one of my favorite comedians. He's certainly an acquired taste, but those of us that like him love him. And so since this is People April, I really wanted to read a book about Don Rickles, a biography of him. And so I got this book, and I really hated it. One, because if you look at the notes in the back of the book, or the sources that this writer cites, they are mostly all from Don Rickles himself, from this memoir that Don Rickles put out while he was alive. And the issue with that is you don't know how much, if any of it, is true. Because Don Rickles was famously one of the only comedians who was given mob protection. He grew up during the time of the Wise Guys and Vegas and all of those hard-hitting mobsters. And so all of the stories, the little anecdotes that Don Rickles tells about his childhood, or his time trying to, oh, woe is me, make it as a lowly comedian, you don't know if any of it is true, and it is all, you just get the sense while you're reading this that there is so much that is being left out, and you're only touching the surface. And also, the writer tries to be funny when he has no sense of humor at all, and the writer thinks that he is more clever than he is, and he tries to drop these dumb one-liners. Basically, he tries to be Don Rickles, and it crashes and burns. So this book just infuriated me. So 1 star, yeah. I go into more detail in that previous People April update video. So question number 4 is the most read genre so far. I don't really have an answer to this, because even though I've read at least 8 books, they're sort of all over the place. If I were to look at my list of the books I read, I would say, so there was 1 science fiction, 1 mystery, actually 2 sort of Russian classic novels, like 2 biographies, and 1 biography and 2 sort of memoirs. So I really don't have much of an answer for that. I haven't read enough books, and that's typical of my reading. I'm very much what's considered a mood reader. I will read 1 book in 1 genre, then I'll completely jump around to a completely separate, opposite genre next in the next book. So don't have an answer for that. Question number 5: a book that surprised you. I'm going to beat a dead horse if you've watched my previous videos, and I will mention once again Eugene Onegin by Pushkin. And this book really surprised me, mostly because it's a novel in verse. This is the James Phelan translation from Oxford World Classics, by the way. Um, the translation I prefer. Um, I read 3 of these translations, and this surprised me because it's a novel in verse, and that initially put me off because I thought, well, is this just going to be pretentious? Is he just going to try to turn tricks and show the reader how clever he is? But that is not what happened in this. I just absolutely loved it. This is probably a close number 2 in terms of my favorite books so far this year, and yeah, this surprised me a lot. So if you have not read it, I highly recommend it. Um, and then question number 6. Books that have come out in 2026 already that you want to read but haven't yet. I'm going to sort of cheat on this question because I never read new releases. That just isn't the type of thing that I want to read. One thing I thought about was maybe, and I'm pretty sure, I think this came out in 2025, but the complete letter collection of Seamus Heaney, the Irish poet Seamus Heaney. I would like to read that, but I'm pretty sure that came out in April. But a book that is coming out, or it came out in April, came out in 2025. But a book that is coming out soon, I think in the next couple of weeks, on May 5th. It's called Hammer of the Gods by Don Holloway, and it's a Viking historical fiction, and it's about King Olaf and his sort of bloody adventures, and I am very excited for that one. That comes out May 5th, so that will be my sort of answer for that. Question number 7 is one goal you made that you are succeeding at this year. And I don't really set goals for myself with reading. Again, I'm definitely more of a mood reader. I jump from one thing to another. The one thing I know that I wanted to at least focus more on for 2026 was reading more biographies, because I learned that I'm really enjoying biographies, the 1 or 2 that I've read so far. And actually, this book just came in the mail today, and it is Brenda Wineapple's biography of Nathaniel Hawthorne. Believe it or not, we're not the same person. We just, but I've never read Nathaniel Hawthorne, shamefully, and so I have a bunch of biographies. I'm looking at my nonfiction shelf now, and I have a bunch of biographies of writers that I have not read yet. And so this weird thing that I'm thinking about doing is reading their biographies first and then jumping into the books. That's probably a stupid idea. That's what I'm probably going to do with Hawthorne. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that. So a goal that I'm succeeding at is, I guess, biographies. The one book that I started reading at the beginning of April, and then I stopped reading, but I've gotten back to it, and I'm sure I'm probably going to finish it either tonight or tomorrow, is Anna of All the Russias by Elaine Feinstein. This is a biography of the famous, not anymore, but the once famous Russian poet, Anna Akhmatova. And I put this book down because I just wasn't really feeling it at the time, and then last night and this morning I picked it back up and started reading it, and I'm enjoying it a lot more now. So I guess the answer to that question would be biographies. So then question number 8, one goal you made that you need to focus on. Sort of, again, not what I would call goals, but more things I would like to do, is definitely reading more reading more mammoth books, so books that are over 800 pages long. Uh, I've been I would really like to start reading more of those. I am far past due in reading Middlemarch. I'm looking at my copy of Middlemarch right now. It glares at me. And also, I want to read Middlemarch, and I want to read Anna Karenina. And so, yeah, I guess that one, and also I will shamelessly promote again the Sound of May, the booktube event that Steve Donahue and I are doing. And so that goal is I'm reading books all about music in the month of May. So I guess that is a goal, to reading more books about music, because music is a very big part of my life. So that. And then the last question is new to you booktubers for 2026 that you recommend. I'm not going to mention any new booktubers new booktubers in 2026, because I'm still new to this, so I really don't know anybody. But new to me, that would be Andrew at the You Could Be Reading More, Alex at Alex's Archives, and also Olive at A Book Olive. I just watched a video not too long ago that she did about 10 classic novels that she loves, and so that never heard of her channel before now. I'm sure a lot of you subscribe to all these channels, so I would say those three that are new to me. And then, yeah, I think that is the last. Yeah, that's the end of it. And so I just wanted to do this tag. Hopefully you found it interesting, and if you have a channel and you haven't done it yet, do it. So yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you next time.